Hello, everybody. Let's do a month in review. We always look at what's the preview of the month, but let's look at the month and see how it actually impacted the game overall. The month is finishing up here in about 1 hour from the time I'm recording, so everything is here, all the plates, all the characters, everything. One thing that we do know is going to change is going to be the armory wall, or the loots. They are going back to 3 individual versus being the collective. Now, what does that mean? Are we losing the prize wall at the end of the tunnel? Because I liked that part of it. And, oh, there, the event just ended. I came in 266th place. I like the loot at the end of the month. You can actually do usually a mega from the steps for about $60 versus doing one for 100. And while yes, there were a lot of Mark Henry in there. There were a lot of AJ. There were a lot of Randy as well. And, so it only had those top 5 that we're seeing here. So I do like that little loot. It's a fun little loot that you're able to do for a little cheaper. It's not a whole lot cheaper, but it's a little cheaper. But anyways, let's talk about our characters from this month. We're going to be very forthcoming. There were only one good trainer. It's I believe, and also he's got a Vision tag link, but yet Seth Rollins is not. The new Visionary Seth Rollins does not. I asked about it, and Scopely came back and said he's not part of that. I'm like, he's the Vision. It just makes sense. I think they put Seth Freakin with that tag link instead, and it just doesn't make sense. But anyways, Bronson Reed, I think, is the only one that has a new tag link, and that's going to be the Vision where you get 5 MP starting move points. And that makes him interesting. Wait, the B tier? Yes, the B tier. I'm going to show you something that's a bit whaley, and I understand that it's only a few people are going to be able to do this in the game, and it's because Seth Anardo is no longer available. But we're going to go and look at the Tribal Thief. And we're not going to do any gameplay. I mean, I could. The problem is mine's not leveled up, so we'll save that for a rainy day. Okay. Didn't get a whole lot of hype for him. I mean, that's some, right? It's some. 100. I feel like I got more of Roxanne, which is fitting because she's the S tier, and I'm okay with that. But anyways, this is what we're running. This is how we're getting there. With this little baby, it's actually pretty significant. If you have an OG drip plate, even more. He has potential, and with that tag link of 5 MP, then we can increase our multiplies by even more. And can we? Oh, you could do one of 2 things with 5 MP, right? You could throw Woods on there. That way you're just started and you 2-click. This is Showdown, this is Titan. Okay? This is not Feud, this is not Boss, anything like that. But you could throw Woods on there and then 2-click. That is an option. And then you could drop Santa and throw on Zombie LA Nah. Memrock, whatever you have. That would also allow you to drop Live for Sherry. And all you need is Woods. So the B tier this month is actually really good for those two game modes. So it's one of those, we're not going to use a whole lot of wild hype on him, but you do need the sticks plate. Okay, I'm going to emphasize that as best I can. You do need the stick plate. But the Tribal Thief is good. Moving forward. This is going to take a few seconds to load, so we're just going to talk in the meantime. Some of the things that I didn't like this month were the prize walls. I think the first two were okay. Past that, they just felt underwhelmed. I was not encouraged to spend for them. It was one of those where it's just like, whatever. The event itself just felt lackluster. The events are always fine. The characters, for the most part, are all good. Mark Henry's kind of the exception, and we're going to go ahead and talk about him now. No tag link. Shame on you, Scopely. You have Mae Young in the game. You don't have to do anything special besides just a tag link. That's all you got to do. Anyways, Mark's move damage, which is, he will scale with the metas because of the infinity loop, right? He will scale because of the infinity loop. However, nobody wants to play that style. I think people are going to play it for a short time period and then move past it. To be honest, I don't think he made a big impact on the game whatsoever, and it's sad because I really like Mark Henry. I really liked him. As both a fighter, as a character, as an entertainer. I enjoyed him. He was the tough guy. He just had that persona, and they've done a couple interviews where they talked about how tough he really was. That he didn't talk to people in the locker room. He was always just to himself, reserved and just ready to go. And it's because he didn't come up in the wrestling world. He was part of the strongman competitions, but really liked Mark. Was a little underwhelmed with his card. Now, I do want to look at him again once I obtain Randy Orton, or if anybody's willing to make that video with Randy Orton. I think there is some potential with the added health steal from the leech. So we're going to call it potential, and I hope it ends well. But otherwise, I'm not a fan of the move damage. It's okay, but move damage, I'm very hesitant. I'm reserved when it comes to that, because I know that come next meta, I'm not going to want to sit there and basically do the Carmelo effect, where you're just having to repeat, and then finally they're dead. And that's usually what happens with move damage. Okay, moving forward. His entourage just completely throw away. One less MP, 75% less damage to blue gems. It's too niche. It's way too niche. Not a fan of that at all. But, like I said, Mark is fine. He's an A tier, and he hits around where we expect our A tiers to hit now, which is the 100 million range. Believe it or not, we expect the A tiers to be somewhere around that 100 million range. And he does that. So, there is that. Moving forward, we have Roxanne. Roxanne is this month's free, and people hate it when I say free. She was free. I did not pay a single penny to obtain Roxanne. I intentionally don't pull on those loots and just play the contest because I know that they're free. And so therefore, I really like, I love that they've added that element to the game. do you need certain CSS and things like that? You had to do the showdown, right? I think that was it. You had to do the showdown, and you got her. As long as you just maxed the weekly showdown, you got her. So I don't understand the argument that people are like, well, the way that Bluesky says things are free. Call it what you want, brother. I didn't pay a dime for it. If I didn't pay for a dime for it, I will happily call it free. Same with Mark Henry. The same with the Naomi gear. Yes, you have to do things to get them. I understand that. But the fact that they are available, the fact that you can get them without spending money, you can. I love that aspect of it. Now, because of that, her and Dom, I feel, took a step back from the free S tier. Them two, I don't find as powerful as Penta or Woods or Showboat McCool. Kind of Showboat McCool before they added a couple new plates to the game, sure, but it's definitely one of those that I find her a little bit less impactful. Now, we are going to try to run her on Friday. We're going to do a stream on technicians and who we like as far as technicians go. I want to rerun her, rebuild her, because Randy is a thing now in the game, even though he's not on many of our rosters, including mine. It's one of those that he is available, and we now have a reason to chase Randy, right, because of his entourage ability. That, and he's fantastic. We'll talk about him in a minute. But I want to retest her with Lee on the channel, and then we're going to use a Green Rumble instead of the Leech plate. And I know that that's less available than the Leech, but I've just found she's too inconsistent with the Leech plate. She misses way too much. And because of that, her move damage averages about 100 million, which is fine for move damage. But then her gem damage only goes up by 120 million, which kind of puts her at the bottom of the pile for Lady Techs of this year. Not overall, but of this year. Not the bottom. Molly was the bottom, but Molly's completely defensive. That's Molly's little thing about her. She is defensive. So we're gonna have a second look at her come Friday live on the stream. I'm not sure what time we're gonna do it. I am gonna try to get with Lee so that we can at least advertise, hey, 5 p.m. Eastern, we will be live. I know that a lot of the community does enjoy hopping in and, putting your 2 cents in. Because this isn't just my game; it's all our game. So your advice is just as valuable as mine in many cases. And I could be looking at it completely wrong, and y'all be like, "Hey, Dingleberry, do this." Oh, it's we all have that light bulb moment. I messaged Zorro the other day. I was like, my Jacqueline's not hitting what yours is, and then I looked down after I hit send. And I forgot that I fused her up, and she still has 80 levels to go. And I'm like, yeah, that could be why. We're missing 12K, 16K of damage from her, and it's against multi, so that's significant. So opinions are always welcomed in when we're doing this. Nothing is ever one-sided. I can assure you of that. But Roxanne, I think she's fine. She's going to be good for many people that are missing the Whaley stuff, like the Green Piper plate for Charlotte, like the Snowfall plate for Liv. She also brings a new element to the game, and that is... I'm sorry, this is not a new element. She has a no pin bar. Okay, this is not a new element. Many of the women this past year had MP up. Then they made the most annoying reversal possible, and they put it on 3 extremely strong women, which is MP up reversal. And they put it on Liv, they put it on Mommy, they put it on Julia. So it's one of those that I really welcome this, even though it hits a bit less. And my hope is that we're able to get her to the 150 range. Because if we're able to get her to the 150 range, then hey, that's obtainable. That's good. Let's go for it. Let's use that. Because I really like that no pin bar aspect. All right. Moving forward, we are getting into our paid characters, and it's there's no spoiler with this one. They're all good. Sometimes it takes a little while for new things to come out to show what a paid character will really do. This go around, they made a very specific plate and basically said, use this. So that was a little different, but we are going to dive into Kelly Kelly. Not in a good way, not in a bad way either, but let's go ahead and make her as shiny as possible. Dang it, come on. There she is. Kelly Kelly is and can have the most potential as far as Lady Acros. And we get a new Lady Acro, I feel, so much more than any other class. Striker's starting to get really strong too. But it's yeah, it's Acro is loaded. What can we say about Kelly Kelly versus our other Acros? First of all, she's PG era, and that automatically skyrockets her to a definite need because we don't have any other good females in the game that are PG era. And I say that if you're drunk enough, you could play Zombie Page. We're gonna leave it at that. You almost have to be drunk in order to play Zombie Page, but you can. And you could win. You could stun lock. It's not fun, but it is doable. However, we don't want to do that, so we're just going to use Kelly Kelly. She's going to be one of a kind for a time period until we get our next AJ Lee or whoever they end up giving us. It's completely unknown at this time. We know next month is NXT, so it's going to be a while before we potentially get one. As of right now, from what I can tell, though, they are not planning to add that as a requirement to the feud. We saw that as evidence with, what was it? This past feud where even Ruthless Aggression, you only have McCool. So they did not have that requirement, which is, it's nice. We're starting to see the PG era in the males, and I don't think it's time yet. I think that it's a little absurd that they're doing that because right now they're all S plus tiers. She was S tier, so we're very fortunate with that. The one downfall that I didn't like for her is that they made her gear a Christmas gear, which means that it's not available again until next year. I don't like the one-off events that have that. It's not something you look forward to because of how quickly the metas shift. And that's my issue with it. The meta shift way too often in order to have a gear that's available once a year. Because we see it with the zombies. We hope that the gear that they come out with is going to be strong enough to make that zombie relevant the second half of the year. Because many of them don't. They just fall off. And we saw that with LA Knight. You know, it's LA Knight's good. He still hits 100 million, but is he the S plus tier that was released? No. And why? Because flat out they just haven't given him anything. All of the moments have been geared towards CM Punk, and just fall off. So I don't really like that they put her gear as a Christmas only gear. I'm hoping that they kind of do a second gear for the next. If they do another gear with her, I want them to do another gear with her, and make it an MP gear. That's fine, but that way we can um, we can get that perk outside of just Christmas. Moving forward, Kelly Kelly also has the no pin bar. Really like that about her. Really enjoy that aspect of her. And yep, there it is. The pin bar does not move. She does Leech Gem. So another one that I'm slightly curious to see how she does with Randy as a trainer. But I don't think you need the 8th anniversary with her. You could throw on Mosh and or Howdy. And I think you're going to be fine with that if you ended up just getting her plate, which they made very niche. And we're going to talk about that at the end of this. But it's a fairly niche plate, but they did make it with her in mind, and definitely with the other two bozos that we're about to talk about. So Kelly is, I'm going to say her ceiling is up there with Rio if you have the gear. If not, she's going to be closer to an Indy, and that's fine because Indy is strong as fuck, right? You know, it's for the longest time it's been Indy and Rhea. A little bit of oh, what's her butt? The bird girl, Lyra. See, and that's why I need to be live on the chat. That way y'all can be like, Lyra, dumbass. It's um, Lyra's good, but she's tricolor, which makes it very difficult to run in our current meta of MP down. And I do believe that this is an MP down meta. I hate that aspect of it, but it is unfortunate that it's where the game shifted because of hype. But now we're seeing people with hype for that are running MP down like idiots. So, yeah. Anyways, moving forward, Kelly is a great addition to the game. We're finally starting to see some S tier that is getting PG era and not just behind that S plus tier, which is far more shard acquisition, right? It's we don't want to be chasing for a year to finally have us a PG era. With this, make it your focus. She's definitely a good chase. So that her entourage, 50% to blue, 2 red, fine, whatever. It's crap. I know we were when we used to rate them with Lee and all them. We used Lee and Rusty. We used to say, well, this one's niche, but it's a 3 automatically because it technically gives us MP and all this. At this stage of the game, I can tell you I mostly use Hall of Famers because I'm able to remember them without having to search. And since we can't get a search bar into the game for Entourage, I'm making it as simple as possible for mine just to go ahead and just use Hall of Famers. You know, I would be surprised if other people are not doing that. I would. It's just one of those that it's so easy to do that. Yeah. So, Kelly, great add to the game. New card to the game, right? We haven't had a Kelly before. And she's one of them that I think is just. I don't know if she's going to get a whole lot more, but it would be nice to see another gear that's an MP gear. Not that it's needed, right? It's just so that we can get that first gear bonus outside of Christmas. That's the hope. Onward we go. We finally got a new AJ. It is about time. It is about time that we got a new AJ. he is very good. I'm not going to dive a whole lot into this because he is S plus tier. There's videos out there on that. But what makes him so great is we're going to go to 6-star gold because we don't look at characters outside of gold. Chances are if you can only get them to a certain point, then you just want to not use them, right? We're not using them until they become gold because in this, you could probably win with him at 6-star silver as long as you got hype 4, but really you're going to be wanting that gold. Doesn't have a good tag link, which is disappointing. There's so many things that they could do with AJ. A good tag link would be beneficial. Move damage, fine, whatever, don't care. Don't really use move damage. That's me on a personal note. I understand that for many, move damage is an important aspect of the game. But for me, I just look right past it. It doesn't last very long, and it leads to not using people properly as the meta changes. So for me, I just leave it alone. Low MP moves. A lot of low MP. A couple 1 MPs, a lot of low MP stuff. Love that. The only high charge is 1 move, and you don't even have to use this. I haven't watched them, but I watched the Juggernaut build, and then I kind of tuned out. I enjoyed that one. I was like, all right, yeah, that's good. I tuned out. So once I get him, I'll dive a little bit more. It just doesn't pay to really look a whole lot right now because, in all honesty, I'm going to forget come next month after looking at all of the new stuff that is coming our way. And he is a longer chase. So it's going to take a little bit longer to get him. We'll look at him a little bit more once I do acquire him. Moving on, fantastic add to the game though. AJ Styles deserves it. AJ's been one of the most overlooked, and I don't know what he's like in the locker room. I don't know what he's like in real life. I feel like he came from New Japan over here to make a big to do, and they just didn't use him, or they didn't use him to the level that he should have been. He's definitely one of those stars that feels underappreciated in WWE. It's because there's too many of them. Honestly, this day and age, there's too many of them. In the past, the way that they leveled that out was factions. Now they don't do it so much. So they still have plenty of factions, but there's just too many people in the WWE to where talents like him just seem to kind of get overlooked. And then you got talents like this that get a lot of attention. But Randy's also been with the company for a very long time. And he has been quite the entertainer himself. Just kind of been that strong character the entire time he's been around. Even when he's been a quote-unquote baby face, it was, you still had to deal with the Viper, right? And that brings us to his trainer. One of a kind. We get 50% more health to our Leech Gem Steals. One of a kind. No new tag link. Drop ball there, Scopely. I don't know who he's tagged with in the past 10 years. The last true tag I recall is with RK Bro. And I can't remember that dude's name. Riddle. I miss Riddle. Apparently he went a little cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, but Riddle was entertaining. And I really liked the team up because it didn't match. It clashed so perfectly. It's kind of like Kane and Daniel Bryan. It just clashed perfectly. Yeah, so Orton, a lot of different ways to use him. He is a Swiss Army knife, and he is going to be one of those, you choose how you want to play him based off of what you have. There's several ways to play him, all of which are very, very strong. I like that about him. I think he's going to be our best male modern trickster in the game. I've got to relook at a couple others, but I'm pretty sure he's going to pass up Dick Kick Cena for me. And Cena's very strong. Randy's stronger. And it's... yeah, I don't have him to play him to really show you why I like him so much, but he is fantastic. And that doesn't mean DK will take a backseat because we need him every day for Titan, right? So there's that. He's still special in our hearts. Randy, though, he's the new trickster in town. But even still, he's going to take a backseat to JBL still. You just can't get past how good JBL is. Great add to the game. Great entourage ability. Definitely. So excited that he's the new acquisition for this MLC. All right, moving on. We're going to start to wrap things up. We got a new MLC starting here shortly, in about 30 minutes. And that's why I wanted to do this kind of at the end of a review, because we really got everything. We did not get any new moments this go around. There were plenty of gears, and we could look at those real quick. But let's look at the plates. The plates I'm going to go very fast with because I don't think any of them are that great. They were extremely niche to the people of this MLC, with some of them being so niche that the natural phenomenon, that it's good on both AJ Styles and Hall of Fame Foley, and that's it. This is a shit plate. They did a shit job. After a month where we just got a 50% to Juggernaut, you come out the next month with a 75%, but only to Red Gems. This is a useless plate. Throw it away. The Bombshell. There are 3 characters that this works well for. I don't see this being as impactful past this MLC. For the people that it's there for, it's good. But eventually they will phase out just like everybody else in the game, and this plate is going to be a Uso cap. It's just too niche. The Never Give Up, I didn't quite understand. I would have rathered that they did a different color pattern than this, because all that is a May Crown Ultimate. It's really what it is. We only saw it once during the Cena retirement event, and that was it. Kind of a throwaway plate. I don't think any. I saw maybe one people claimed it, and then all of a sudden everybody coming out like, "Why did you spend for that?" Part of the gotcha game, gotcha. It's just a Maze Crown. We got a new Uso cap. Great. Again, don't really care. The 8th anniversary is going to be better in most situations than this. It's kind of like the Uso cap. There's not going to be a whole lot of homes for it in the current meta. There's a couple. Okay, it's not unusable like the Uso cap. It's just one of those that it could have been better. Make it rainbow. Problem solved. Make it rainbow. Because we don't have a good ultimate for Silence. Not yet. It might be in the plan for 6 months, but we only have 100%. This would have been extremely beneficial had it been rainbow. And a little bit better than 150, but that's neither here or there. They just wanted to create another Uso cap. Hot chocolate plate. It's good on Mark Henry. It's good on one of the head shrinkers. Too niche of a plate. Way too niche of a plate. I did not care for any of the plates this month, and that's the end of the plates for this month. They brought nothing to the game besides for the people for this month. Outside of the chain of command, like I said, a couple spots outside Alexa Bliss and one of the Cenas, I think, or something like that. But other than that, the plays for this month really were throwaway. We briefly talked about Kelly gear. We'll take a quick look at it. I think that it's fantastic. It is one of those that the downfall of it is that it is Christmas only, and that's a problem, right? It's no one wants that. The Christmas gears should be something that is less impactful than 12 multiplies to strength 12. That's an awesome gear. And that's what it looks like. It's her Candy Cane gear, tribute to the Troops 2010. Cute little Kelly. All right, moving forward. Past that, we had Woods. Woods, I felt, was less impactful, but where I feel it was impactful is if you don't have Leo, then I think that this is definitely a good grab. Even though it's only a times 2 multiply, he does so much damage already that this just makes him better for Titan. It really does. And he's very strong in Titan. This makes him a lot better in Titan, having that gear. I ended up going a different route, and I went for the Santa gear, which is not a new gear this year, so we're not going to look at it. But yeah, that was a must grab for me, just because I do have Leo, so therefore my Woods is already hitting high enough. Kofi, not Woods. Here, my Woods is hitting high enough. Kofi gear. This was way too expensive. I understand it is 1,000%. This was a $400 gear. And I am going to say a complete waste of money. Because Kofi sucks. Kofi can hit. Kofi can cascade. So the fact that he costs $100 and his best move cascades, and then his gear costs $400 and he cascades, it means that Kofi altogether, if you truly spent for it, you could have spent as much as $500 cash, real world money for somebody who cascades. I don't like him. When he came out, I took a snippet of this and I wrote "sucks" right across his chest, and that was my picture for that MLC. I was so frustrated at how crap that moveset was, and the fact that they made a S tier's best moveset one that cascades in the modern game. So if you got it, enjoy Leech Boss and enjoy cascading. Moving forward. Gears. Naomi got a gear. Naomi got a MP gear. Excuse me. There we go. Oddly, for whatever reason, when I look at her face with this, she almost looks like a vampire. I don't know what about it, but yeah. So if you had the previous gear, which I like this one, we're going to switch back to this one. She doesn't look as devilish. And I know it's her heel turn, so she's got to lose the glow, go dark, whatever. If you didn't have the old gear, now you get to see how fun she is. For the rest of us that have been able to just smack with her for a very long time now, if you had that gear, now we have an MP gear. This was available for free. I will stand on that thing because I did not spend in a single penny for that event. And I just chased it through the feud. Got it. Yeah, it's did not spend for that event. Fantastic gear, because that was her downfall, was the MP charge, because of all the MP down with the hype meta. I am trying to remember who else got a gear now. AJ. AJ's gear was kind of released. Was it that weekend? AJ's gear gives 300% to red. So not quite a Piper plate worth of power, but it's his red moveset hit. I want to say it was around 150 million upon its release. So now it should be doing substantially more. Great gear. Am I able to show it at all? It just shows the face down here. One of them's a black T-shirt. So yeah. I remember when they did that for, who was it, Tama Tonga? It's like, yeah, they just put a shirt on him. Wait, what? Yeah, just a black shirt. So good gear for him. I think that was it. Kelly. Seth was the other one. Seth goes from being silly looking to outer space silly looking. I don't understand this one. He may have had this costume for one of his gimmicks, or one of what's it say? Standard gear. I don't remember the huge shoulder pad thing, but that could have been a pay-per-view thing. I do kind of remember those glasses though. The past year he has just been. I'm going to say the past couple years. It's just been wild, the shit that he's coming out there with. It is just wild. This gear gives our multiplies, will increase their strength by 10. He was doing about 150 million before. Now he should be doing about 250 million. Another great Titan build here. You could also even focus on the yellow. So the gear affects both of his moves. They're both extremely, extremely strong. It becomes which you have the better things for. If you've got the Eyes of Viscera, then run the yellows. If you don't, and you've got bot stuff lying around, run the bot stuff. It's both sets are fantastic. You can't go wrong with either. They're very similar as far as their damage output. So great gear for Seth. I love that it is not a Christmas gear. Same with AJ. The same with Naomi. You can get these gears throughout the year. The Christmas gears outside of Kelly's are the ones that are going to be really less impactful for me. And that's because I've got that, call it whatever you want against Kofi. I hate that because I love the New Day. The New Day was still to today one of my favorite tag teams of all time. The gimmick that they did with Bootios and the pancakes and all that shit, I was rolling every time they came out with that fucking trombone. Love New Day. Was really looking forward to it, and then I saw Kofi's thing, and they're like, well, you could put a Haku plate and then, click 20 times and it'll hit hard enough. I'm like, no, I don't want to do that. So I've got him. I like his tag link. It helps me out with Woods for Showdown for sure. But outside of that, you could keep the card, throw it away, whatever. The Woods one, like I said, is I think it's good for people that don't have Leo. I think it's going to be a good gear to chase. It was fairly inexpensive. I would have gone for that had I not needed Santa. I would have definitely snatched that Woods gear. But he's definitely my favorite of those two, and he's really fantastic. You could 2-click with him, or you could use the no pin bar. I love no pin bar moves. So that's going to be last month in a. We're going to call that a very large nutshell. We're at 45 minutes. We're going to go ahead and call that it. I think character-wise, I think it was a very good month. Gear-wise, a lot of good things came to the game. We'll see how easy it is to acquire Some of them, if they're going to be in the armory loot or available on prize walls, certainly not hangers. They're too good to be there currently, but the plates, throw them all away. The plates were a joke for the MLC. They brought nothing going forward to the game, and I hope that I can eat my words later, but where it stands, man, it's just disappointing. That's going to be it. We're going to take a look and open up the new MLC and see what changes they've made as soon as that airs. I do have to knock out about another hour of work in between which. Till then, I hope that you enjoyed your December MLC. I am glad it is over and we are finished with the 5-week MLCs. They just tend to drag, and toward the last week, I noticed a lot of people just losing interest. 5 weeks are very long MLCs. They do it for vacation times for the employees at Scopely because it's the highest vacation time of the year. I understand it, but glad it's done with, and we're moving back toward an NXT month. So we've got about 15 minutes, and we're about to find out if NXT repeats itself with its MP gains. Till next time, see you.